Hello, Pisces. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Pisces is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Pisces, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. We have a Princess of Cups. You're someone with a great imagination. I feel like you're somebody who is really connected with spirit. I feel right now you're paying attention to the signs and symbols and synchronicities around you. You are noticing the fish in the percolator and you're saying, why is that fish there? Let me go down that rabbit hole. I think you're trusting your sort of curiosity, you're trusting the images that are kind of bubbling up from your unconscious and being projected out into the world, and you're really tapped in right now. Yeah. I think you're very creative. I think that you are feeling almost like a freedom to where like you can start exploring some of these other interests that you have. You can start exploring these other desires that you have. This is the card of dreams and hopes and wishes and aspirations. You're only limited by your own imagination. Yeah. And I feel like this is different. I feel like usually you've been maybe more left-brained. We've been a little bit into the kind of the logical causal events and trying to stick to a plan and everything. Now it just feels like we're kind of like we're letting ourselves dream a little bit more. Yeah. Let's put this card into a little bit of context and let's see what's going on with you this week. There we have the 10 of Swords. 10 of Swords is the birdcage card. We're letting our imagination out of the birdcage. We're thinking outside the box here in a way. There's an Ace of Cups. There's the 6 of Swords. From a 6 to a 10. It used to work. Doesn't work anymore. We got to think outside. That we got to get creative. Okay. 10 of Pentacles. Ace to a 10. And we have a Prince of Swords. A lot of swords here, yeah. We have an 8 of Wands. That's creative problem solving. Very good. We have a 4 of Swords. More swords cards. We have the Devil energy. And finally, we have a 6 of Wands. Very nice. A lot of swords cards here because I think, yeah, this is about us using our imagination, using our creative faculties. We're exploring new pathways. We're following the fish in the percolator. We're not just sticking to the same old narrative, the same script, the same story. We're branching off into other creative avenues here. You're finding other creative ways to create your future, to create your life or get to your goals, whatever your goals are. We're realizing that to be a magician, it's not just about like knowledge and wisdom and skill and all that. It has to be about creativity. Okay? You have this you're a very smart person. Right, you can absorb information very quickly. You can make connections very quickly. You're a fast learner, I believe. But if we don't know what to learn, or if we're limited in what we're going to allow ourselves to investigate, we're not really taking advantage of our capacities. Yeah. Anyway, let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. I'm going to set it down right here with Tiny Bob Ross right on top. We're not going to look at that happy little card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Yeah. Now, as we look around the room, we just see one major arcana energy, and that is the devil card. Okay? To me, the devil card is going to be the temptation to get back in the birdcage. The temptation to get back to the way things used to be that aren't working anymore. The plan used to work. We were following this particular script, this narrative. We were reading from this script and it was working. It's not working anymore. This is the temptation to just go back to this, to go back to the birdcage, not because it works, but because it's familiar and it's comfortable and we know the lines, we know the words. You're improving here. You're kind of, this is the Princess of Cups that's saying, I don't really know the way. I'm just going to kind of follow my heart. I'm going to follow my imagination. I'm going to let myself be attracted by the shiny things in my peripheral vision, and I'm going to go that way. I'm going to let myself be allured by other curiosities and other emotional pulls and draws and interests, and I'm going to be creative, and I'm going to experience life, and I'm going to feel something, and that's how I'm going to go forward. Or I'm just going to say the words I know. I'm just going to stick to the script that I've already been following, even though this doesn't work anymore. But it's familiar. Okay? And so I think that's the devil card, is kind of tempting us to say, hey, it's easier in the birdcage. You know, you're not going to get what you want. You're not going to get your fulfillment. You're not going to get all that kind of, you're not going to get your best life. But hey, at least it's less work. It's less trouble. You already know the words. It's easy back here. It's easy, but it's very limited. Okay, we've got fire and fire. You've got your water energy right here, which is trying to come up from underneath. You have this wellspring of good creative ideas and all this desire and all this purpose and this sense of mystery and this sense of fantasy and all this creative energy, right, flowing up. That's sort of challenging the established structure of this air, of your thoughts, your current paradigm, your current understanding, the current framework of your world. You're breaking through this, and you're going to get your best life. So you got your air, you got your fire, you got your water, you got a lot of air, and you got your earth up there. And the earth contains all the other elements, by the way. Okay, so this is the best life. This is what you're hoping to attain. Ultimate fulfillment. This is a physical manifestation of your best life. Inside the pentacles, the air, the water, the fire. Okay? So there's emotional satisfaction, there is intellectual certainty, there's a particular story in here, right? There's a belief system in here. There's values in here. There's will and intention in here. There's spirit in here. There's purpose. There's meaning. This is wealth, but it's not just money. It's your best life. It's your pets, your plants, your people. Okay? This is, get out a sheet of paper, get out a pencil. Draw a picture of your best life. What's in that picture? Okay? Are you in that picture? Don't leave anything out. Make it as detailed as you need to, or as simple as you need to. This is what we want out of life. This is how we want it to look. Of course, we know that the appearance needs to have substance behind it. Okay? This is the outer form. The water needs to be in there too. Okay? Because the situation you're in now with that 10 of Swords, the water energy's not there. So what you're realizing, position 1 is kind of your subjective experience of life. We're starting to feel like, I want things. I have desires. I have wishes and hopes and dreams and aspirations. There are things I want out of life. There are feelings I want to feel. And I'm starting to feel a desire for those emotional states of pleasure, of satisfaction, of connection, of friendship, of romance, of spiritual feeling, all this stuff. But the life I have, the obstacle in front of me is that I'm trapped inside this birdcage. There's nothing here anymore. Okay? This 10 of Swords could be a limiting job. It could be a relationship. It could be a belief system. It could be a very limiting view of the world, that your personal paradigm is too narrow and too small. Okay? The 10 this card is our second position card. It's talking about the obstacle or the quest for you, the battle card. It's your challenge now to let your heart out of the birdcage and find out where you've been stuck in a particular narrative or stuck in a particular situation that's limiting you, that's preventing you from spreading your wings and fulfilling your potential and building the best life. This is a dry and desiccated situation. There's no life here. That's something that is really, in a way, threatening to evaporate all of your very positive feelings that are starting to get going. It's kind of like every time your heart starts to stir, this situation comes and and dries it up with a towel. Says, nope. So you're realizing that this combination can't continue. We're putting an end to this restriction. Yeah. Maybe it's a belief that we're not supposed to be emotional, or that we're not supposed to follow our heart, or that the emotions are something that are kind of like inconvenient. The emotions are something primitive. Our desires are something that's kind of detrimental, and we're not supposed to have desires, that it was a flaw in our design, And so I feel like you've usually been very intellectual, very left-brained. Now we're realizing that, no, you know what? I feel things for a reason. And if I feel that this is not my place anymore, if I feel that this is not something I want to eat, this is a dry and desiccated, this is like in the cartoon where they'll hold up the fish bones in the cartoons, like the cat will eat the fish and it'll just be bones that come out. That's what this card is. It's realizing that I'm trying to eat dust. And this is saying, I don't want to eat dust anymore. I want a gourmet meal. I want to find something that fulfills me. I want to find something that I enjoy, that makes me feel good, that makes my heart beat with this divine energy. The first step to getting this, the first step to having this adventure and to, have those experiences is to realize that we are being restricted, to realize that we're holding ourselves back in some way. The first step is to realize that we're in the birdcage. To realize that it's not there. It's not here, let's say. In some situation in your life. Okay? And whether this is what is it that's preventing you from going out and getting the life you want? The belief we don't deserve it? Some other situation that we are obligated to? Is it the belief something we learned when we were kids that, we shouldn't have these kind of desires, that having emotions and having hopes and dreams is kind of child's play, or it's childish, or it's immature or something? How have we been just conditioned to just be thankful for the birdcage we're in and not to wonder what's outside the bars? First thing we have to do is recognize the bars of the birdcage if we're going to get out of that birdcage. Yeah. And then down beneath the surface, you have your Ace of Cups. I think to realize that your desires, your imagination, your creativity, your hopes, dreams, and aspirations, your wishes, comes from a divine place inside of you. This is the picture of your soul right now. And your soul wants to get out there and wants to experience life, wants to live and love, It's kind of a heart chakra that wants to be active. But of course, we have this Ten of Swords, this air energy that's been restricting or blocking this heart chakra. And of course, we know that this is a situation that we're in that's preventing the full expression of our heart. Okay. It is a belief system. It's something that it's a position that we've been in. Now, this is not somebody doing this to you. Your heart chakra is not technically blocked, right? It is being kind of figuratively blocked or psychologically blocked by the bars of the cage, which are, in a way, self-constructed, okay? Now, we may have had a lot of help building it. We maybe didn't know that we were building it. But it's a limitation. It's what we were taught even to believe is possible for us. Okay? So the heart here is never going to be able to fully express itself because of some belief that you have that this is all you get and there's nothing out there for you. This is yours, this little tiny spot right here. Everything else out here, not for you. Don't even look out there. It's not for you. And that's a very limiting perception of the world, right? And maybe it's fear too. Maybe it's scary. Life outside the birdcage is kind of scary. So we're choosing not to see the bars of the cage. Maybe we hang some pretty pictures on the bars of the cage and we just feel like this is the world. This is the entire universe. Because what's beyond the bars of the cage is darkness. It's the dark, scary forest. It's out there. It's real life. It's uncertainty. It's mystery. But there's something in you that's calling you to that mystery. And saying, I want to go explore what's beyond the bars of the cage. It's like that one movie, The Village, right? And we're not going to go outside the village because there'd be monsters out there. No, it wasn't monsters. It was a whole other world. It was the whole rest of the world. It was all these other possibilities and experiences and fears and heartbreaks, but loves and hopes and dreams, you know. I don't know if you've seen that movie, M. Night Shyamalan. I love those movies. Did you see The Serpent? That was such a good show. I think that was his daughter, though, M. Night's daughter. Anyway, we want this to have full opportunity to express itself, to find out what we're capable of, to what we like and what we don't like. I want to allow my heart every opportunity it has to love. I know there's going to be heartbreak and stuff along the way, but that's the risk we take going outside the birdcage. This is us not believing that there's anything more out there for us, but there is. Now, in the background, you have your Six of Swords, which is a divine plan. It is, it's kind of like saying, you know what, there was a time where I was very content in the birdcage. Maybe because I didn't know the birdcage was there. I didn't see the bars. And so everything was fine. There was harmony, there was peace. Everything felt like it had meaning. But now that I know the birdcage is there, now that I see the bars, suddenly what used to have meaning for me doesn't have meaning anymore. Okay. And then that Six of Swords becomes a memory. I remember when life was good inside the birdcage, and there's no way to go back to that. Once you see the truth, it's very hard to lie to yourself again. We try, and the devil is us trying to continue to lie to ourselves and say, I'm okay here. This is fine, I like it here. But we know that was, I was going to say an illusion. It's not an illusion. It's something that worked for a while. This is the plan. This was the old script, the old plan, and it worked. It worked for a while until it stopped working. Now that it doesn't work, this plan, it doesn't seem like a good plan anymore. I could force myself to continue going by this old plan, but for how long? And it's obvious that I would just be, it's kind of like, the ignorance is bliss. Some people want to I'm just going to go back into the birdcage. I'm going to pretend that I didn't see anything outside here, and I'll just forget all about it, right? And we can try to do that. But I think there will always be that heartbeat, that pulse inside of you that's kind of urging you to go find out what's beyond this situation for you. Okay. Did you used to write a lot of poetry when you were a kid? Like a teenager, you wrote a lot of poetry. And I feel like we kind of went a little bit less poetic and more technical writing, more professional kind of. So it was like we started out as kids, we started out fiction. I loved fantasy, I loved sci-fi, I loved romance novels, and then I just kind of went nonfiction. Study, school, books, the technical language, left brain, logical. I feel like now you're kind of getting back to I just want the fantasy. I want mystery and magic. I want the unknown. I want the uncertainty. I want the dark, scary forest, Interesting thing about your reading is that you don't have any reference to the Aries energy, which we've usually seen. I wonder if that was a phase that we went through, going into that very assertive, kind of very serious Aries energy, and now we're coming back into that Pisces energy. Like maybe it's a cycle, it's fluctuating like this. like some windshield wipers, because maybe the Pisces energy is that more mystical, magical, creative kind of energy, whereas the Aries perhaps was a period of time for you where you had to be very serious, very assertive, very left brain, logical, very in control, very like practical. And now maybe that phase is over and we're getting back to like, I'm going to start reading my fiction books again. I'm going to start writing poetry and getting creative. I'm going to start listening to music again and having those feelings again. Okay, maybe that Aries energy was the birdcage for you. Now it's like I'm trying to revert back to kind of how I was. Yeah. The Ten of Pentacles, of course, is that best life. And, maybe it's a very practical goal. It's saying I need to build up certain things. I've got to build up a career or my physical health. I've got to have goals and I've got to work hard to get to those goals. And so I do need a plan. I do need to follow some kind of a logical order. I do need my left brain, so to speak. But that by itself, these would be empty shells. Without the creativity, without the love, without the dream, without the mystery and magic, this would be a pretty boring life. Okay? I think the old plan that you had would have just given you a very kind of boring life. Very plain, very ordinary. A very unmagical, kind of living a muggle life here. But with this energy here, this is like, I want to find the magic in the mundane. I want to experience the extra in the ordinary. I'm looking for mystery. Okay. I think we need more of that in our lives. Because it gives it a deeper sense of meaning. The Ten of Swords here is a life that has no meaning. We're realizing that this life that I'd be creating, if I just keep doing what I have been doing, it's not going to have any meaning in it. It's just going to be a facade. It's going to be empty shells. And I don't want it to be empty shells. I want it to have water. I want it to be plump, full, juicy water like big grapes, And so moving forward, we have to ask ourselves the question, because that's the Prince of Swords. This is double air energy. This is us on the fence. This is us, spirits telling us we have to pick a side. Inside or outside. We can't have 1 foot inside the birdcage, 1 foot out. It's like, I got to take a chance. I got to have a dream. I got to follow my dream. I got to follow my bliss, follow my heart. I got to go out and look for the mystery of life. I've got to find the magic again. Maybe this is about, we're going to start kind of activating our creative side. Maybe we're going to be more spontaneous. Maybe we're going to follow our desires a little bit. Explore what else is out there for us, do things we haven't done before. Maybe this is we're going to get back into our spiritual or religious practice, something along those lines. But this is saying we have to make a choice of either staying the same or making some changes. Yeah. Let's talk about the path of the serpent. As we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. The Eight of Wands, right? This is a card that is really saying anywhere but here. This is your general energy. It's an anxiety. It's a jazz hands, We're restlessness. We're tap dancing on the shag carpet. We're restless inside the bird cage. We're starting to rattle the cage a little bit. You ever have a bird as a pet? And when they start to get a little bit anxious, they start rattling the cage, or they start grabbing it with their beak and just shaking the bars, because there's something inside of you that is saying, I can't stay here. I can't keep doing what I've been doing. I can't keep living this same way and believing the same things. I've got to go do something else. So this is a card where your energy is going in any number of directions, but not staying put. So there's something inside of you that's building pressure. Pressure's coming from inside. It's kind of saying, like, I don't care where you go, Pisces, just go somewhere, do something. Okay? I don't care what's outside the bird cage. I don't care if you go north, south, east, or west, or anywhere in between. Just please don't stay here doing nothing. Don't stay here doing the same thing we've been doing. The longer we stay put, the more this anxiety grows. Okay? We've got to do something anyway. Okay, so a restlessness brewing inside of you. In terms of your relationships and in your environment, you have that Four of Swords. This is how we deal with anxiety. Okay, you feel anxious inside of you. So what do? Well, you breathe deeply. You find things that'll help you calm down. We have all these tricks that we've been taught too in order to kind of calm our anxiety down. We talk to somebody. We go look at sort of calming pictures. We do breathing exercises. We meditate. We find ways to calm our anxiety down. It's almost, in this case, it's like we're putting a Band-Aid over our anxiety. Instead of finding out, okay, why are you in there? Why are you down there? Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to, I'm going to try to deal with it. This is stress management. It's not necessarily stress reduction. It's stress management. It's saying, I have anxiety still, but I'm finding ways to manage it, right? Managing our anxiety rather than finding a way to reduce it or eliminate that anxiety, or to listen to what is that anxiety telling me. Because it's something coming from in your soul. It's that pulse inside of you that's like, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop knocking on the door. Maybe you feel it in your chest area too, right? I feel that there's a tightness in your shoulders, and there's kind of like a chest thing too, yeah. And you're someone that, like birthday cards, you write big long letters in birthday cards, don't you? Like you'll use like both sides and the envelope when you write the birthday cards, yeah. There's something inside of you that's pulsing. And the more we try to sort of to cover it up, to mask it, to manage it, it may work for a time, but it's going to continue to grow louder, and we're going to feel that anxiety. Your soul is trying to tell you something. And we just come here with another Band-Aid, and we try to quiet it down. What the Four of Swords really should be telling us is that we need to stop the noise. We do need to meditate. I'm a firm believer in meditation. And I'm a firm believer in an advocate for breathing exercises, and just breathing in general is a good idea, But not to try to calm that anxiety down, but to calm our own inner noise down so we can listen. What is that thing telling me? I'm not trying to cover it up so I don't hear it. So I'm not trying to like turn the radio up louder so I can't hear my own soul like screaming at me, right? I'm trying to listen to what that voice is telling me. I feel like your spirit's screaming at you right now. And we're trying to just find some way to turn that down, to manage that noise. Instead of listening, what is it telling me? Okay? I think in a way, it's telling you to get the heck out of the birdcage. The Devil card is the next card. This is in the position of your fear, worry, and concern. In some ways, it's fear of what's outside the birdcage. I think the Devil is kind of a temptation to stay in the birdcage. It's kind of saying like, look, it's not for the weak of heart out here, outside the birdcage. That's where the real life happens. It's in a way, it's sort of testing us, or it's provoking us. It's asking us like, do you think we're strong enough to live life outside the birdcage? It's so much more comfortable in here. And we just manage the anxiety, and we stick to whatever plan we've been given, whatever script we've written or have been given. Or do we really have what it takes? How motivated are we to get a life that's full of meaning? Are you ambitious enough in that sense where if I'm gonna create anything, I got to create something with meaning. I want my life that I create to be not desiccated and dry on the inside like that turkey in that old Christmas Vacation movie. I don't want my life to be like that. I want my life to be like this. I want my turkey to be full and juicy and moist, like a plump grape. Like that, right? Not like this. And so this becomes our motivation. This becomes our driving force. This is the engine of the car. And I think it's in the fear, worry, and concern position, because sometimes we don't know. Am I that dedicated? Am I motivated enough that do I really care? to have a life that's full of meaning and purpose and satisfaction and fulfillment? Or am I okay with just staying in the birdcage, ignorance is bliss, trying to ignore the stuff I don't like, and just following whatever script has been pre-written for me? It's easier, it's less work, but it's less meaning. So maybe we have to be honest with ourselves and say, do I really care? Do I really want it that bad? Or am I okay just kind of taking the easy road? Staying out of the dark, scary forest, just, if I was in that movie, that M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Village, I would have just stayed in the village. It's nice here. It's cool, there's community, everybody's together, and yeah, sure, there's this whole vast world outside our village, but you don't need that, I think we have to understand, it's going to be harder out there. It's going to be infinitely more rewarding and more fulfilling, but it's going to be harder. It's going to be scary. There's going to be heartbreak and toil. Yeah. But you have the Six of Wands as your destiny. You have the ability to fight and be victorious. This is the card of victory after a fight. So this is telling me that you're choosing the more difficult road of life outside the birdcage, and you're going to succeed in overcoming the challenges that road faces you, or that you face on that road. Yeah. And this is your confidence. I think that this card is here to say you're going to choose the hard road, and you're going to succeed. Let's look at the mystery card. Please be some water energy. Please be a 6 of Cups or a 9 of Cups or a 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups would be perfect, right? If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see. 4 of Wands. Okay. Because the 4 of Wands is a turning point. The 4 of Wands is a card of completion. A cycle is coming around. It's kind of like saying it's time now. This is the card of both a welcome home party and a bon voyage. So you look at these figures in that card, you don't know if they're welcoming you home, saying, oh, hi, you're back, or if they're saying, so long, see you later. Or maybe not, right? To me, I feel like this is the kind of part of our Prince of Swords, saying you're either staying or you're going. You're coming or you're going. It's like you're standing on the door sill of your parents' house when you're a kid, right? And your parents are saying either out or in. Shut the door. I don't care if you go outside or if you come back in, but don't just stand there with the door open. That's kind of what we're doing here. Is we're standing there with the door open. Because again, we kind of got one foot in, one foot out. Where this is the card of pick a side, pick a side of the door. Are you coming in or are you going out? And nobody really cares here but you. You know what I mean? Whatever decision you make is fine. You got to make the decision that's going to feel right for you. That's going to satisfy your soul. You can't just stand here with the door open, half in, half out. You're letting all the cool air out, that sort of thing. We're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, we'll do an I Ching hexagram. We will do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Pisces, Tuesdays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.